You guys ready to talk about another badass movie with some badass motherfuckers? Well, this is the movie. Because, holy shit. This is probably one of the best action movie sequels I've ever seen. Up there with Rush Hour 2, up there with Lethal Weapon 2. Like, badass sequel. Plain simple. And there is a good bit to discuss with this one, too. So, without further ado or delay, let's dive in to Bad Boys 2. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your mother's station for anything and everything animation, including TVs and movies as well. I am your host, Jackson Small. Let's talk about probably the best movie of all the Bad Boys films. Then, again, I haven't seen 4 yet, so maybe it might be better. I don't know. Probably not, but holy shit, I was not expecting what I got out of Bad Boys 2. Like, I heard the sequel was great from some people I really like Sean Chandler, for example, but oh man, I was not expecting what I got in this movie, especially that opening car chase. Whoa, okay. So, there's a lot to talk about with this one, so I'm not going to waste any more time and get straight into my written review because there's a specific part of this movie that shocked me that I want to talk about. Damn, what an incredible sequel, plain and simple. Pros, more great acting, especially once again from Lawrence and Smith. Even better action, like the action in this movie is cranked up to 11. Even greater storytelling, even more hilarious dialogue. This movie's even funnier than the first. Bay's best directing in his entire career. Seriously, Bay, do more movies like this. Like, yes, it has some of your Bayisms in there still, but it's not to the point of being obnoxious. Do more shit like this, please. One of the most insane car chases ever filmed. I'm talking about the one with the SUV getting chased by this giant truck, and while they're getting chased by this giant truck, the villains are literally dropping cars on the road. It gets wild really quick, and it is incredible. Like, almost the whole sequence, I was like, okay. This was my face for almost that entire sequence. But unfortunately, since it is the first sequence of the movie, unfortunately, it kind of keeps the rest of the movie's sequences from being as cool, but oh well. It's still an amazing sequence. A much harder R rating, and this is the thing I want to talk about that I was not expecting. With unexpected, intense, very insanely well done, practical gore. Yes, you not. There is gore in this movie. Like, horror movie gore. You see people get ripped apart. You see dead bodies. You see decapitations. Like, you see people getting exploded with landmines. Like, it is intense. It is gory. And it is like slasher movie standards. And I was shocked because, yeah, the first film had its bloody moments, but it wasn't like gore fest level. This is a gore fest. So if you do not like gore, don't watch this or you will puke. Like, it is violent. Like, yes, by today's standards, it may not seem like much, but think of it as the standards of back then when it first released. Oh, damn. You were not ready. You are not ready for the intense, bloody, gory violence in this movie. Because it is very, very gory. Like, very gory. You have been warned. Very gory. But if you're a gorehound like me who's used to seeing that kind of intense shit, you are going to love this movie even more. Because it seems like it's right up your alley. More emotional resonance with the characters through truly excellent development. There was some amazing character development in this movie, especially for, of course, our main two protagonists, because they have some really good development all throughout the movie. And there's times where it's like they're gonna kill each other, but then it all comes back around in the end. Seriously, freaking awesome character development. Much better villain. This is the best villain of the entire franchise, and I do not give a damn if that's controversial or not. Because this guy, he is intimidating, he is scary, he is memorable, but he's also eerily calm sometimes too. Like, he's a mama's boy, he's looking after, I think it's his little sister. Like, he is the definition of a loose cannon, and when he kills people, damn, it is some of the most brutal shit you will ever see on screen. Seriously, the villain in this movie, awesome. Loved this guy. High rewatchability, very, very high rewatchability for me. Awesome movie. And a lot of pure, unbridled fun all throughout. This movie was just plain fun. Like, just plain, flat out fun. Almost the entire movie, I was either laughing my ass off, shocked at the adrenaline or the outright and crazy insane gore, or just invested in watching the story unfold. Like, this movie is anything but boring. That being said, though, it's not quite perfect. I do have a few little gripes with this movie that I do need to talk about, so... This movie is awesome. It's badass, it's kick-ass, it's awesome, but there are some things that I need to talk about. The cons, the runtime is way too long. This movie is over 2 hours. It is way longer than the first. And it doesn't really work because it doesn't really utilize that time well. It's a little hard to explain without spoilers, but once you see the movie for yourself, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, I praised the first movie for having great pacing and a runtime that didn't waste time because it was under 2 hours. But since this one's trying to be bigger and badder in every single way, it got a bigger runtime. And unfortunately, that causes the pacing to slow to a crawl, especially in the final 35 minutes where it feels very dragged out. It's a shame, but that's just me being honest. Oh, and I can't forget the random Dan Marino cameo. Yes, the Miami Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino. He is in this movie for a total of 5 seconds, and it feels very weird. Not as weird as a certain cameo we're going to talk about when we get to Bad Boys for Life, but it is weird. Like, why is Dan Marino there? I get it's Miami, but why? Overall, though, awesome film that builds upon the foundation of the original and ups the ante in every single way possible, but unfortunately suffered from a bloated runtime and stagnant pacing in the third act. Like, if it weren't for those two little problems, the two big problems, I would be giving this a 10, but it's just not quite there for me. I can still see, though, why it is so highly praised. It is one of the most badass action movies that I've seen in a long while, and I'm probably going to be rewatching it a good bit from here on out. I'm just probably going to skip over some of the parts that drag a little bit. So, with all that said, let's get down to the final verdict for Bad Boys 2, which is an easy, high, well-deserved, and soaked in blood and gore, 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Check out this badass movie if you haven't already. Highly, highly recommended. Again, if you can stomach blood and gore and you don't have a problem with R-rated movies. If you do, stay away. It's not for you. But if you can't handle the intensity, you're in for one badass action movie. Well, that's it. That is my review of Bad Boys 2. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we gotta talk about 3 next. And my opinion on it may or may not piss you off a little bit. Just a fair warning. So, I'll see you next time for Bad Boys for Life.
We cannot take it anymore. The time has come.